Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today we're going to start producing some of the furniture that allow us to move into the new Lego room. Yup, it's got a lot more Swedish in here recently. Well, I've got quite a lot of stuff as my first IKEA order, but I think I'm going to have to do one or maybe two more in due course to fill all of this lovely huge space with multi-level tables and units along the front and all the rest of it. But what I've got here should be enough to be getting on with, in addition to all the stuff I've already got in the existing Lego room, because obviously all those tables will be coming down as well, but it just is nowhere near enough. It's amazing how much I'll need. So I've got 7 standard tabletops here, Lag Captain, and they are 60 centimeters by 120. They're a bit different from the all black versions that I had before, with this kind of weird bluey grey top surface, but I do quite like the side profile of this sort of levels of plywood as a veneer, because it kind of looks to me when horizontal like the different levels of sort of sediment in the earth or something like that. So I think that'll be quite interesting. Although, to be honest, most of them, apart from maybe the subway tables, which these will be, I think most of them will be completely covered up anyway, so that difference in colour will not matter. And for 7 table tops, I needed 28 table legs. Interesting carrying all of these, I can assure you. So these are all the Olof extendable legs. And that's because I'm doing the city at slightly different levels than I did the previous one. I kind of figured that was a little too high up, so I'm trying to lower the entire city so you can kind of see further as a visitor. So yeah, these the old city used the standard legs, which were 70 centimeters for the subway level. These are going to be using the extendable legs, but with very low extension, so that'll be even lower than it was before, and then they'll be able to be used in their extended format for the sea level and land levels and so on. And the reason why they're in 2 separate piles at the moment is because these ones I've taken off the really annoying stickers, and these ones are yet to do. It takes absolutely ages to peel them off, because they're the sort of stickers that you get just a little bit up and then it sort of rips and tears. So I'm doing them sort of 4 or 6 at a time, because it is absolutely soul destroying. And unfortunately, I'm the sort of person that cannot have stickers on their table legs in the city, so they have to come off. So I'll just ration those and do them bit by bit. But the main addition from this order is to get more of these lovely Kallax units, which are basically setups of cubby holes. This is the 2 by sort of 4 setup of cubbies that I'm going to be using on its side, like a 4 by 2, I suppose, and that's going to line this whole sort of front perspective when you come into the Lego room of here all the way along here to the outside door, to give us 2 different levels horizontally, one under the sea, because all the sea level is going to be sort of around the front, and then underneath that, underneath the seabed as a kind of subterranean level. So I think that's going to be absolutely great. But the one that I bought last time just to do as an experiment to see if it worked, I think it will, so that's successful. But I got a lot of comments saying that I would probably need to support it more rigorously along its length, because when it's on its side, this wood, which isn't solid at all, it's kind of honeycomb and hollow on the inside, will sag. So that's what I'm going to do today, make some sort of struts to hold up that middle shelf, well, and the top shelf, I suppose, from sagging. Another change, which I think was a bit ingenious by me, if I do say so myself, was that I was going to buy 3 of these kind of 2 by 4 ones and use the third one, cannibalize each of the 2 long sides that I'd have spare to make that middle long shelf in the middle, to make it sort of have those 2 long independent levels in the middle. But then I discovered that they actually do a 4 by 4 unit, which you can kind of see a picture of there on that sticker. That's what these 2 big boxes are here. So I could actually, by buying one of them, get some thin shelves to go that full length, because you just don't get any long shelves as part of this 2x4 version. So anyway, yeah, by buying a 4x4 version and a 2x2 version over here, I should be able to combine the pieces of that and that to make two more 2x4 versions, but with the incredibly long shelf. So I've probably confused you entirely there as to what on earth I'm doing, but I think I've got enough pieces in all these three boxes and the one I've already got to make exactly what I need, perfecto. So that is probably where I'm going to start, getting these boxes open, get some more of these made, and probably undo this one so I can get in that extra new shelf that will be in one of those. Cool. Right, well, I'm very happy to say that my ingenious plan has worked, in that the thin shelves from the 4x4 unit fit perfectly in the middle of my 2x4 unit, meaning I've got an unbroken and very slim, look at that, fantastic middle shelf. Now, this is definitely going to need supporting, isn't it? That is going to be really wibbly when horizontal. So I'm going to need to manufacture some cross supports. Now, normally they would be these small shelves that go in here to make each of the cubbies. But I don't want to have all of my underwater and underground scenes completely broken up into tiny little segments. So what I figure I would do is kind of make some, well, kind of batons, I suppose, like pillars supporting it rather than walls. So if I get one of these shelves and using a saw, an old-fashioned bit of kit, because I don't have any power tools for this sort of a job, I thought I could basically chop along there and then chop along there to create two batons, pillars, that I could use to create all of the support that would be from the doweled piece of the shelf on each side to support all of these different shelves in position, but not have the rest of the blockage, essentially. And then each of those pillars I can either disguise using bricks, like you know, a column of supporting rock in the underground cavern or something like that, and maybe, I don't know, something else in the undersea. I'm thinking that I might be able to just do them on the back wall, and maybe that'll be enough for the support, but I'll probably need a couple on the front, I don't know. So I thought I'd figure that out as I go. But I think the next thing I need to do is to get my saw and make some lovely batons out of a few of these shelves. So I'll take 2 or 3 to one side and go and do that outside, well, because it'll be very messy with the sawdust. And yeah, we'll see what results. Well, I am a bit of a wimp, I must admit. Doing 4 of those shelves to make 8 of these lovely little batons has pretty much worn me out using this saw. I don't think it's very sharp, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, the good thing is that the ends of this that the dowel go into are solid chipboard, because the insides of these shelves, these are the bits that I've kind of left out now, are that honeycomb that I was talking about. And look at that one where it is kind of breached. You can kind of see, and on the end of that one, that it is almost entirely hollow with kind of paper on the inside. So I've got all of the strong bit times 8 to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the back wall. And then I've got 2 more to, well, play around with, maybe having just a central post on the front, or hopefully none at all, and then see how strong or saggy that is. With that very thin shelf in the middle, I think I'm going to need at least one sort of on the bottom level, front and center. So yeah, I think now I've got all the ingredients to make my first one, and we'll see how strong it is. So I'm going to have to take this apart, use all my new pieces, and get going. Though I think if I'm going to have to saw another 4 sets of this for the next set of shelves and for the third set today, well, my arm is probably going to fall off. So I think that might mean I have to do a different job for the rest of the day, maybe getting some legs on all these tables. Oh, but then I'll have to pick off all those stickers. Nightmare. Anyway, first things first, let's get this going. Well, that's a lot more open, isn't it? I like that a great deal. I think it's working really well. And I've got all the raw edges facing the back of the cabinet, so you won't be able to see that. It just looks black, 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 which is all good. IKEA in their infinite wisdom made the dowels a certain length, so you couldn't build it wrong, essentially. And because I'm deliberately building it wrong, they're too long to fit in these side things. I'm just having to chop the little ends off, you can see there, of each of the dowels, just to make sure they'll actually get totally consumed when the pieces are put together. So yeah, that was very clever by IKEA to stop people building it properly, doing it wrong, but it did flummox me for a little bit. I thought, why are these not going in enough? Anyway, yeah, let's get the other side on, top on, and we'll see how sturdy it is. All right, so my first Frankenstein cabinet is complete with just those pillars holding up all of the weight in the middle rather than full shelves. So it is very open indeed, and I think quite strong actually. If I give this a sort of hefty shove on the top or even on the middle, it doesn't seem to be moving much at all. So I think that works rather well. Very nice indeed, and all the raw edges, as I say, are on the back, so it looks quite nice as well. I'm curious as to know whether I could get away with not having this one at the front, because that is a bit unsightly, though, you know, it's not huge by any means, and it might be quite a feature if I encapsulate it in rock, like I said before. Could even make a little sort of island here on the top, just being cut off like a facade, and then the supporting rock down here, or a volcano from under the sea, or goodness knows what. So actually it might be a real feature to keep it. Depends where it lines up with, really. But yeah, I'm happy with that. Though I may take it apart again and do a slight variation, because it just dawned on me when I was looking at it that one of these small shelves actually is exactly the same distance in the other dimension as well. So I could actually use one of these small shelves to require fewer of these sort of pillars, and basically put one of them kind of like that. So I don't know if that is an improvement. It's definitely less soaring. You know, if I have one of these small shelves replacing two of the battens, and then it'll just be kind of like a flat backboard on the back of the cabinet like that, kind of blocking up one of these holes as a back wall there and there. I think that'll just save me a lot of time. So yeah, I might rescue 4 of those pillars and replace them with 2 of these walls for a back wall, and then we won't have too much see-through ability as well. So what I'm going to do with these is basically, if I just pivot this one around a bit, it's a bit hard to move on a carpet surface, but something like that. Then when you come into the Lego room, he says, walking backwards, almost tripping over, you'll see that as the sort of front facade, and that as another one next to it as a front facade, and a gap in the middle, which will hopefully be a little bit wider than this, will be where you will crawl underneath the tables to get into the standing holes in whatever format they end up being. So yeah, I think if I take that apart again, put in a couple of solid shelves, and then do the whole thing again with all of this nonsense, then yep, we'll have our 2 front facades. And then I just need to decide if I've got enough pieces and enough time to do a side one here for that little bit there, which will probably be a 2x2 setup. And I may have to do some more sawing of even the thicker pieces for that on the ends. I don't know. So we'll see what's left. Cool. Ah, yes. Version 3 is the best. 1 shelf the wrong way, and 1 pillar at the back on each level, and then 1 pillar in the middle at the front. A combination of strength and the minimum amount of sawing, with keeping it very open indeed. So yeah, now I've got 4 batons or pillars to do the next one without any more sawing, which really is exactly what I wanted to hear. At least my arms did. So yeah, cool. Let's get going with the second one, and then we'll have a pair either side of our crawl space, and we can worry about the M1 then. Okay, second one done. A mirror image of the first with the back wall bits and the pillars and so on, but looking good. I think our 3rd iteration of this experiment has worked rather well. It's a bit like my Lego process, really, taking something and then doing it in a completely different manner from what the instructions told you to. But that means I've got something unique that is very right for my needs entirely. So you start to get a view on how much of the Lego room is going to be filled with tabletops, and it's all the area behind these units, and including these units. They'll have base plates right on top of them for sea level, so that's the height of that. Obviously the underground will be slightly lower than that, and then we'll have these lovely cross sections as well of the underwater and underground, underneath the seabed. So that's going to be great. So we've got all that real estate and all of this real estate as well. So I've got a few pieces left. I've got one of the long central shelves there. Then I've got two long bits from the 4x4 unit and two short bits from the 2x2 unit, and loads of middle shelves and bits and bobs from all of them together. And for that, I can use all those pieces to make a third one of these units that'll be slightly different, in that the longer sides will go right up to the corner and the shorter bits will be kind of in between those two ends, if you see what I mean. And that unit can go perpendicular to the other two, basically here, continuing the line of the wall, and then just going underneath all the tables. So you'll only see the end bit of it there, but I think that will be good because it will continue on the sort of open theme that we've got all along the front there. And then this section over here, where all the legs are currently sat, will be, well, another flat section with multiple levels, but I'm hoping to have one of the subway stations right up here in the front. So much like in the old city, we might have some subway stations in the standing holes over here and over here, but I think having one at the front right up close and personal will be really interesting. And then you'll be able to see the train whiz here and then, you know, whiz over there and maybe whiz over there as well. So it's really a city-wide subway system, so that's going to be great. So yeah, that is fantastic. And here is our lovely crawl space. That'll be great fun. Cool. So yeah, I think I've got enough pieces for a third one. So I better get on with that. And then we've got the whole sort of fascia done. Phew, there is number 3. And that is fantastic. Much quicker than building the other two. Partially because I didn't have to saw any pieces for this one, but partially because, well, you do anything 3 times, the third one's a lot quicker. And we've used all the remaining big pieces of that 4x4 unit and of the 2x2 unit. And there's only a very few pieces left over there in the corner, representing all the sort of small shelves that I didn't put in their original spaces. So they'll come in useful when I'm doing the rest of the city, kind of as just supporting whole neighborhoods or little sections that are at a slightly different level in the city and need sort of holding up. So yeah, I'll definitely keep hold of those. But this one, without any sawn pieces, just has 2 of the shelves kind of as a back wall for that first section. So we've kind of got a 3-wide bit that should be supportive enough, and that will basically fill that gap between the corner of the wall and the end of this unit in here. And then the other bit that's going to be hanging out excess on the other side underneath the Lego tables, I kind of thought, well, why not use that as its original intended purpose as some cubby holes for storage? Heaven knows I'll need loads of that. So yeah, I think that's going to be really good. Slid into position over there with the other two, and that will give us our complete sort of front fascia from when you come into the Lego room, and you'll see the edge of the city like a massive guillotine came down and chopped it right down to the underground. So yeah, that'll be fantastic. Right, let's get this in position so we can see that view for ourselves. Ho 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 ho, yes! That is exactly what I had planned in my mind's eye when I was thinking about the first view that you'd see when you came into the Lego room. Kind of a massive cross-section from sea level all the way to the floor, all the way along the front. I just think that's a great idea. Think of all the extra display space. And even when I'm developing the city, it will be really good for storage. And then you've got the quite enticing looking entry into the crawl space to get into the future standing holes. I'm not sure if that is the board that we'll have on the top or if the spacing's quite right, but you get the idea. And then on this other end, we'll have more of a conventional sort of table cross-section with a subway station in, which will be kind of below sea level, but above the undersea level. So it'll probably be just a different kind of level about here, and then ground above that, which will obviously be higher than sea level. So yeah, just totally different combination, not using Kallax shelves. But this is great. Actually, it's come out better than I thought, actually. I thought I was going to have to do a lot more sawing, and I wasn't even sure if it was going to be very strong, but I think it is now, and it's all on one level and looking great. So very, very happy with that. Yes, and let's see around the other side. I haven't even seen this myself, really. Oh, yeah, it's perfectly aligned for those two storage cubbies as well. So that is wonderful. Brilliant. So, yeah, a good bit of progress today. A lot of space to make future progress as well. This city is going to be absolutely vast, about double the size of the original one, and that's before you get to all that cross-sectional area as well. So yeah, absolutely amazing. I'll probably leave this open for as long as I can in the development, because otherwise I'm going to be ducking under it and crawling unnecessarily. But yeah, it's good to get the concept in. I like it. And this gives me a lot more room on the other side, of course, to do the filming and even sitting on the chair at a desk, building and all the rest of it, which will make it much more useful a space than in the original Lego room where, well, if you weren't actively playing with the city, then, well, there wasn't any space at all to do anything else. So, yeah, I really like that. It's taken quite a lot of time to do this job, but at least it's a job well done. And I'm very happy with it. So that is good progress. Now, unfortunately, it's probably back to picking off horrible little stickers off metal legs. No! Well, as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome Lego videos. I'm sorry it's just been building IKEA furniture this time, but you know, it is kind of like Lego in the fact that I've got a set, built it in a different way than was proposed in the instructions, and tailored it to my exact needs. So, yeah, pretty similar really, just bigger pieces. And I do like to take you on the full Lego journey, including the setup of the room and tables and so on. It's vital to get things exactly right at this stage for ease later on when we're building all the lovely Lego buildings, roads and scenes. That'll be absolutely great. So if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll be doing a fascinating special on the removal of very stubborn stickers from metal table legs. So do be sure to tune into that. But until then, see you! Yeah, that'll be 1 million views, absolutely no problem.